Thanks very much for coming, and thanks, Abigail, for organising this from the Department of Education side. For those who don't know me, I think I've met most of you. My name's Steven Payne. I'm actually based in Perth, Western Australia, and I'm working with the Microsoft team here, supporting schools with all of the great Microsoft tools, which is Microsoft Teams that we're in now, Minecraft, and everything else in between. I'm just going to mute everybody apart from me for now, because there's a few crackles. And if you've got a question, feel free to come off mute and ask that live, or you can type in the chat. So yes, I'm here in Perth. It's a beautiful sunny day today, and I'm working on the land of the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation. And I pay my respect to their elders, past, present, and emerging. And I obviously extend my welcome to all of the lands that you are joining us from today, mainly across South Australia. So what am I going to do today? I'm going to talk to you a little bit about coding, and particularly a focus on primary schools. So we'll be mainly looking at block-based coding. I may sneak in a little bit of Python, but mainly we'll be looking at block-based coding that's most appropriate for primary schools. And it's a great time of the year because we've just turned on Hour of Code for 2021, which is all about, it's called Timecraft, and it's all about traveling in time to solve problems. If you've used this year's Hour of Code already, maybe you can just say, yes, I've done Hour of Code in the chat. Or if you've done a previous one with Minecraft, let me know that as well. I'm going to talk about all of the settings and things that you can do with MakeCode in Minecraft. And I'm also going to show you how it links with different curriculum areas, and particularly with the technologies curriculum in Australia. I was going to set you like a couple of small challenges, but I don't know whether you were asked to bring along a device with Minecraft installed. So in the chat, can you just say yes if you've got Minecraft on a computer or iPad ready to go, or say no if you haven't got Minecraft installed with you? I'm hoping there's quite a few yeses, and certainly if you don't have one, you can come on live and join in with my mine. Excellent. Louise, Brenton, and Ben have all got iPads or laptops with Minecraft installed. And the best thing you're going to get today is a link to a lot of other resources. I'm going to share with you a couple of OneNote books, which have got a whole curriculum set out for digital technologies. You can run through a whole semester's worth of work for primary schools, and I'll show you that. But first of all, let's see if you can guess who is hidden beneath my jigsaw. So there are prizes. Type in the chat if you know the character that's hidden. If you know it after no squares revealed, you are the certain winner. What about after one? Do you know who this character is? Well, you got to type fast. There's some very, oh, look at that. After one step, I think Brenton was first. Well done, Brenton. I'll have to get something sent out to you. There we go. That's our little agent that we're going to be using today. So the agent, I used him in last year's Hour of Code, which was all about villagers and helping villagers work together. So the really nice thing about the Hour of Code activities that the Minecraft team put together is there's always another element. It's not just coding for the sake of coding. So last year, there was a very strong emphasis on social and emotional learning and friendship and service and those sorts of things. So we'll do a little bit of an explore of that. I'm not going to play the videos, but I will share these slides at the end. I'll put a link to them in the chat. Last year's Hour of Code was about two villagers and helping them get to know each other. So one was actually a farming village and one was a fishing village. And then they found out that they both needed each other's skills. So by using coding, you're able to get the two villages working together. I'll play that now. This year's Hour of Code is
What if you had to go back in time to save the future?
All about traveling back in time and solving problems using code, which is a lot of fun. I'm actually running a live version of this in a couple of weeks for Computer Science Week. So you can actually beam me into your class and I'll be presenting live, and you can do this with your students. I'll be introducing different quests that the students can try on their own laptops. You can pause me on the screen and they can go off and solve it and then come back to the video. So if you want to do a live lesson with me on the 9th of December, Abigail will send the link to that. But also you can access the link after the 9th of December. Not before, because I wouldn't have recorded it, but afterwards you'll be able to access that and do it at any time when you want to do some hour of code with your students. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start, before we go and actually look at make code, and there's a bit of an example there. I thought I'd just show you a little bit of last year's hour of code, and it's just very, very similar this year, kind of the structure. Quite often when you go into Minecraft, one of the things you'll know is there's not an undo button or there's not a reset button. Whereas with all of the hour of code activities, you can now reset activities and start again. So I'm going to go straight into Minecraft Live. So I've logged into Minecraft. And the neat thing here is there is a shortcut to go straight into hour of code here. So when you've logged into Minecraft, you can go straight into our hour of code. Just a little warning, there was an update to Minecraft a few weeks ago. So if you don't see an hour of code button when you first log in, you'll want to just check your version license down here, your version number. So the current one is 1.17.30. So to get all the latest features and resources, you do need to be on the latest version. And that's the same number for Windows, Mac, iPad as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go, oh, I didn't want to press play, did I? I was going to go straight into hour of code. But I'll show you that you can also get these hour of code resources from within the library, and then subject kits, computer science, and then there's a whole lot of computer science things there, from the hour of code that we're going to look at today, to block-based coding, to Python, to a whole lot of different lessons. There's actually 250 hours worth of computer science content built into Minecraft. So I'm just going to go straight back to the beginning and click hour of code. So earlier today, someone mentioned the Hour of Code website, and prior to 2019, all of the Minecraft activities were kind of done on a website. But in 2019, all of the Hour of Code activities were brought into Minecraft. Sorry, I just realized my microphone was the other side of the room. Hopefully you can hear me a bit clearer now. The Hour of Code activities are now available in Minecraft. So the one in 2019 was all about preparing a village for bushfires. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen that. That's 2019. 2021, which just came out last week, is all about looking at key moments in human achievement and correcting things that have gone wrong using code. So it's a kind of a time traveling fun activity for this year. And I'm just going to show you a little bit of last year's Hour of Code, which was all about inclusion. So you can go into a world and create it. And the nice thing about these activities is they are really designed to be done individually. So you wouldn't generally have 30 students all in one world doing the activity. You would normally have students working individually, maybe 2 or 3 people at a computer. They can work through one of these activities. So what I'm going to do is just take you through the first couple of steps to show you how straightforward this is. And I've actually done these Hour of Code activities with students from year 3 up to year 9, and they've worked really well. So first of all, you end up in this little place, and as you'll see, I can't get out. I can't knock things down. I can't build anything. All I can do, I guess, is click on this book. So one of the really nice things that's built into all of the Minecraft activities is this immersive reader. So if you have got a student who struggles with reading or needs some extra support, they can just click on the immersive reader button and they can either have the instructions read out to them. There's a play button down here. You can change the speed of the reading, but you can also click on individual words and see images. Hasn't got anyone. Has it got neighbor? There you go, neighbors. So it's got images that support that. You can also translate to other languages. So if you've got students who speak another language, they can actually click on their word. So if you've got a Finnish student, they can click on a word and it will give you both the English and the Finnish. So that's just a really neat I can't speak. That's a really neat tip. Anywhere where there's writing, click on the immersive reader button and you've got some extra tools to support all students. So the villagers and illagers have found that they've got differences, and those differences need to be, they need to change what they're doing. So our task is to help the villagers and the illagers learn to work together. So it's just very, very natural. It takes you step by step. Okay, I've read that. Now this person's got a question mark. Thank you so much for your help. My small friend, the agent, will help you through the power of coding. Okay, so here, as with all of the hour of code, you can choose between blocks and Python. So I'm going to choose blocks and then press C to start coding the agent. So if you've got a device with a keyboard, you will press C. If you've got a touch device, you'll notice there's a little agent at the top of the screen, and that will launch the code builder. There we go. So let's actually see what I've got to do. So my agent is there, and I've got to move him to the gold blocks. So he's got to move forward 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can code that nice and easy. On start, move forward by 4. So that's actually my code to code my agent. And the neat thing about that is you only get the tools you need in the toolbox. It's not like when you go straight into coding in the game normally, where you get all sorts of different things for loops and variables and things that you might not need straight away. So let's just start this and see what happens. Come on, agent. Yes. I think you two will work well together. It seems the agent has a gift for you. Open the coding window to accept the gift, then you can plant it here in the center of the courtyard. Okay, so I'm going to press C to code, always. And this time, I'm going to accept the gift, and it's something I can plant in the middle. I wonder what it is. Could it be a seed? Oh, what have I been given? I've been given an oak sapling. Okay, so now I can't plant it there, but I can plant it there. So this sapling is going to symbolize the hope and prosperity you bring to these towns. Okay. Cool. So now you'll notice the doors have opened to the village, to the villagers and the illagers. And now I'm just trying to decide which way to go. So I don't think it matters, but I'm going to go off and solve a problem. Okay, so this one here. Oh, where would you like to go? Villager town or illager town? Well, let's go to the villager town. And then I get different tasks. So I've got to look around. So this character over here has got a question mark and he's a fisher. So when I click on him, fishing is something we've never been good at. The illagers from the next town are offering to help us learn, but they say we need a dock first. Can you help us build a dock at the edge of the shore? We'll just need the outline. Can you build it 6 blocks long and 4 blocks wide? I can do that. Okay. So now I've got my agent and I've got to build a dock 6 across 4 deep, and then 6 down again. I can do that. Right, here we go. So again, I just get the code that I need. So maybe I'm going to place the word 6 times, and then I'm going to turn right, and then I'm going to place the word not 4 times. I've done this before, you see, so I know that I only need to place it 3 times because I've already got the first place. And actually, when I first did this, I actually drew it on paper, which is a good suggestion for students. And then I'm not going to move back 6 times because I've already got 1 in place. I'm just going to move back 5 times. So I did that quite quick because I've actually done this before. And let's see what happens. So he's building as I've instructed him. Hooray! And I've made a dock. There we go. Equity is not about giving everyone the same thing. It's about making sure everyone has what they need. Before you built the dock, the villagers didn't have what they needed to learn to fish. With your dock and some lessons from the villagers learn to fish for themselves. Don't forget to go check on your tree. I'll bet it's growing. Okay, so now I can go back to the tree. Is the tree growing? No? Ah, yes. There we go. I've completed stage 1 of 6. And my tree is growing. So now I can go and explore the village and solve some other programs. So I've built the dock. What can I do over here? Who's this? There's no question mark. So he just gives me a story. Ah, there's the person with the question mark. What's that? Ravagers. So my task is to introduce the Ravager to the 3 villagers standing near their houses. Okay, I won't do the code now, but you can see there's 1 character there, 1 there. I've got to find another one. So I've got to use the code to take this Ravager on a walk around the courtyard to introduce it to these different villagers. And once I've done that, my sapling will grow, and then I can solve 1 more task and go and solve the tasks with the other group. So you'll also notice here, you've got hints. So you can get a hint, and it will actually put in this case, a green line to show me where I've got to move. Or if I've made a mistake, I can reset the activity. So it actually puts the Ravager back to the beginning, and I can go back and do the coding. So that's useful to do in the hour of code activities. I'm not going to do the whole one now, but I'll leave that with you. It can take an hour. Generally, I find it takes a little bit less time, particularly as students can work in groups and help each other. So that's last year's hour of code, which I think is a fantastic resource. And then when I finished, I can print myself a certificate if I want, or just exit the lesson. So I just did 1 task out of 6 there. Also, when I play, that hour of code will stay in my worlds on my computer, so I can go back and revisit it as well. If I go to hour of code, I can do this year's hour of code. I haven't actually finished this yet. I've only done one activity so far. It just came out last week, so I haven't explored it in too much detail. So they're really nice activities you can do by yourself. But what I'm just going to open up this hour of code here. I'll just share this link in the chat window, because this website actually has a lot of resources for teachers about activities you can do offline as well, and ways you can extend it. So if you look at this web page that I've just shared in the link, it shows you how to set up Minecraft. There's a lesson plan. There's a course for a teacher to show you how you can facilitate the hour of code. And then there's links to other learnings. So I think that's a really nice resource. So as a teacher, you can come onto this hour of code activity. You can see the objectives. There's a whole lot of videos, presentation slides you can share with your students. This one can be quite useful, particularly if you're not experienced with Minecraft. download a copy of the solutions. Then there's Kahoot quizzes to go along with this, and a lot of other resources. So I love the fact that it's not just a Minecraft world. There's Kahoot activities, there's lesson plans, there's PowerPoints, and so on. So hopefully you can try that out and try some things with your students, or even invite me into your classroom in a couple of weeks and I'll go through it with them as well. So any questions about Hour of Code, just come off mute or type it in the chat. Okay, Ben doesn't see the link, so I'm wondering if
I can see it, so I'm not sure.
Maybe you can try direct chatting with him.
Yeah.
Thanks, Abigail. We'll sort that out. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do now is give you a few little tasks to do in MakeCode, and then we'll look at all the different resources that are available within the game, and then we'll definitely become experts within the next hour. Fantastic. So there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do with MakeCode. So I'm sure everyone here knows what code is: a set of instructions that tell a computer to do something. And MakeCode uses event-driven block coding to start an action. So for example, you can see here on start, say hi. If I were to write that game, then when I start the code, it'll say hi on the computer. It will say it as a text. It won't be verbalized. On chat command build, it's going to place this block at this position. On player walk, it's going to spawn an animal or create an animal at a particular location. And then when you place a block, you're going to be teleported somewhere. So there's all these different things that you can do, like when you break someone's home, it gives you a message, or if you click on a cake, it takes you to a cake shop, or whatever you want to code. There's all these kind of different events that can trigger things within the game. I think the common ones are on chat command. So, they're probably the most common, which means when you type in a word like rainbow, it types a rainbow. Or if you type in the word home, it teleports you back to your home. You do need to know a little bit of maths. So you'll notice here these three numbers. They are your X, Y, Z coordinates relevant to you. So if I place a block at 1, 0, 0, that means I'm placing it one block to my right. If I'm spawning a chicken at 0, 5, 0, that means it's going to transport me or teleport me it's going to spawn the animal at 5 blocks above my head. So X is your X coordinates, left and right. Y is your Y coordinates, up and down, and Z is how deep into the game. So everything's in 3 dimensions in Minecraft. So let's see how it works. Oh, there's my agent's head. So a really simple thing that you can do is just having Minecraft coding as you walk. So you might want to just get students used to walking around and walking in a straight line. Maybe a simple task is write your name in flowers. Or maybe you're in the sky and you want to write your name in cobwebs. You can do that by physically moving around. So we'll have a look at that in a second. You've also got the agent. So anytime you enter MakeCode, the agent comes into play. So we just saw in the previous example that the agent built a dock so that you could go fishing. We're going to look at how the agent can build a tower, build a house, can till the land for a farm, all sorts of things that the agent can do. And then you can actually, these are little videos that I've put together that I'll share in the chat as well. And then probably my all-time favorite thing that I can do with coding is making it rain chickens. Oh, if you've ever made it rain chickens before, give me a thumbs up. It's one of my favorite things. And really that's all about gameplay. So you can change it when you type in a command, it rains chickens, or it starts snowing, or animals appear all over the place. So you can do all sorts of different things. So those are kind of the things you might want to do with MakeCode when you first open it up. So I'm just going to open up MakeCode and let you have a little bit of an explore. So if I open up MakeCode, I need to be in a Minecraft world. I'm just going to create a new world, and I'll go into creative. You can only use the agent in creative mode. So I'm just going to go into a brand new world. And remember, the way you launch MakeCode is to press C on your keyboard, or where have I landed? Underground. I love landing in a random place. Okay, so I'm on an island with a lot of turtles. Fantastic. Cool. So that's pretty cool. I've just landed in the middle of an island. So that in the ocean. So the cool thing about starting in a random world is you never know where you're going to be. I could have ended up in the jungle or the desert or underwater. Here I am on an island. So I press C, and you can choose your editor. So normally I use Microsoft MakeCode. It's the one I've used pretty much 95% of the time. And I like the fact that you can use blocks, great for primary school, but you can also use Python and JavaScript if you want to progress to text-based programming. So really nice to do. Tinker, I haven't used that for years, but I know some schools use Tinker with other programs, and that might be more familiar for you to use. But today we're going to look at Microsoft MakeCode. So just before I do, because I pressed C, there's my agent, and I can start programming him if I want. I will in a moment. So I'm just going to show you 3 very simple bits of coding, and then let you have a bit of a play with the basics. And then we'll look at some challenges together and where you can get further information. So I'm going to go back to my code builder, and I'm going to go to Microsoft MakeCode. So you'll see at the top my projects. So anything that you've been working on will be stored there. So last week I built a house. Oh, and I did something with South Australia. So they are there. And there are tutorials. There are examples, and then as I scroll down, there are some videos. So these are generally with one of the Minecraft coders who writes the program going through these activities with his daughter. So they're really fun little activities that you can kind of see people guide you through activities. But I'm just going to go right back to the beginning. And I'm going to start a new project. So I'll give it a name. I'll call it Coding 101. And I've created a new project. So remember I said earlier, when you were doing Hour of Code, you only saw the blocks you need. When you're in Code Builder, you actually see lots and lots and lots of blocks. So there's there's blocks about setting positions. You can do loops. You can use conditionals, variables, and then there's a whole lot of advanced functions as well. I haven't even looked at half of those. So as you see, there's lots and lots of resources there. Basic are kind of your most common ones that you're going to use. So I'll look at these to start with today. You'll also notice I'm just using half of my screen. I can actually move to the other side of the screen or expand my screen, which might be useful if I'm presenting to a class. I can actually zoom in to look at the blocks, or maybe I want to put some code up for you to, as a student, to follow. So let me just clear those. To clear, I just drag to the bin, which is on the left. And I'm just going to write some simple code for walking. So on player walk, I'm going to place a block. Maybe, remembering my XYZ, one block to my right. So I can choose any of the blocks that exist. So maybe I'm going to put a daisy. And all that means is that code means as when the player walks, a daisy is placed one block to my right. There we go. That's probably one of the simplest bits of code you can do. So now I'm in the world. And you can see I'm trying to plant, but you've got to remember here, and this is where the students will tell me, you can't plant daisies on sand. See, they're all falling apart. But if I come over to the grass, I can plant daisies on the grass. Okay, there we go. You'll notice when I'm flying, I'm not planting daisies because I'm not walking. The code is very strict. So if I go back to the code and I say, maybe I can duplicate that, right click, duplicate. Maybe I say on player fly or swim or climb. You can have different things happening. So now when I fly, I'm going to place a cobweb and maybe I'll do it one block in the sky so I can see it. Maybe two. There we go. So now as I walk along, you'll see I'm leaving a trail of cobwebs as I fly. Okay, so that's really simple little code for just changing what's on the ground and what's on the sky. On player walk, on player fly. Really simple. Cool. And now when I walk, nothing's going to be planted because I've got rid of that code. So the code only works while it's running. Excellent. Now here's my little agent. Now I'm going to write some code for my agent. Let's just get rid of those flowers. And I'm going to get my agent to build I want him to build a house. So let's do the foundation of the house. I've got an option here that says agent. And then I can have the agent move forward, the agent turn left, the agent teleport. But then you can do all things like agent till, agent destroy. So you can use the agent for mining. He can destroy the blocks in front of him and so on. But in this case, I just want him to build. So I'm going to have agent move forward, let's say by 3. Then I'm going to have the agent turn right. But I want the agent to build a square foundation. So rather than bring these blocks out over and over again, I'm just going to have that repeat 4 times. Now this is cross-haired out because, or hatched out, is that what it's called? Hatched out, and because I haven't given it an event. So I've got to do something like on chat command build, and then the agent is going to move forward by 3, turn right, and do that 4 times. So I'm going to see how this works. So there's my agent. I type T to talk, and then I type in build. He's walked in a square, but he hasn't built anything. So there's a couple of things you need to do to let the agent build. So the first thing you need to do, let's say he's going to build with oak. You've got to give the agent something to build with. So you've got to take something from your inventory and put it in the first block of the agent's inventory. You right click on the agent and you can give him something to build with. Excellent. Now let's try it. T. Build. Oh, he's not building. So what I can do is go to the code, and if I go into the agent, you'll notice that there's actually a block there that says agent place on move. All we've done so far is tell the agent to move. We haven't told the agent to place anything. So if we make that true, and we can spell the word build, look at the success. Oh, so close. Okay, so I guess the problem there is he couldn't build where he was because he finished up here. He couldn't walk any further, and so he couldn't build. So just to finish this off, I'm going to say agent move up by 1. So you can change these to move up, down, left, back, forward. So now let's go and put my agent somewhere else. I'm going to search for an agent. There's my agent. And I'm just going to go and put him over here. Don't know why it's getting dark. So I'm now going to just change the time to day. Time to day. There we go. I can see what I'm doing now. So let's just put the agent down here. And I'm going to get the agent to build there. Excellent. So T, build. Woohoo! And because he moved up, he's actually completed the whole base of my house. Excellent. So there's my commands. I've used some wood. You could use gold or pink concrete or whatever you want to build with. So my task for you is to practice our coding skills and our trial and improvement. Can you get your agent to build a square base and then take it up 8 stories? Okay. One other thing that you can do that can be quite useful is rather than spawn a new agent, you can actually teleport yourself, the agent, to you at the start of a build. So now if I want to go and try this somewhere else, like over here, I can type build and the agent starts building exactly where I am. Okay, so that's a really useful tool, agent teleport to player. So my task is, can you look at that code that I've written and can you improve that to make it, rather than just being a square at the base, can you actually make that 6 stories high? So it's going to be, the base is going to be 4 by 4. Oh, no, sorry, 3 by 3. And then 6 stories high. So I basically want a tower 6 stories high, 3 by 3 all the way along. That is my task for you to try now. And if you've done it successfully, take a screenshot. If you're on a Windows computer, Windows Shift S allows me to take a screenshot, and then I can just go and paste it in the chat. Cool. So I'll give you a few minutes, have a bit of a play. Even if you haven't quite got it right, maybe you can just share a picture of what you have achieved, and then we can celebrate our successes. So I'll give you 5 minutes to build yourself a tower, and then we'll look at some more exciting things as well. And feel free to come off mute at any time and ask away.
Hey, Steve. Sorry, Steve, what were the dimensions again? 8 stories high.
So 6 stories high with a 3 by 3 base. But that's kind of what I said, but it doesn't matter too much.
Hey Steve.
Jerry.
I'm just looking at your code. How does your agent know to use the wood?
Brilliant. Great question. So can you see my code? Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yep. So when I right click on the agent has his own inventory.
Oh yeah.
So whatever you put in the whatever you put there is what he'll use. So I've put 64 there, but I could have put 2 there, and then I could have put something else there. So he would have used those until he ran out of those.
Yeah, great. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's always, and that's the first block. If you don't put it there, if you put it there, for example, he'll get confused. He won't build anything.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
There you go.
See how I go.
Good luck. Whoops, I just shared mine in the chat. It's a little bit wonky. He's made a staircase. I need to go and improve my code. I think between us, Louise, we're creating some art. Maybe not. I mean, it might not be making a tower, but we're definitely creating some art. So any questions, please shout out. Hello. It's funny how we've all done. Ours have all turned out slightly differently. Abigail, no excuse for you. You've done this before. You've forgotten.
Hey, it's terrible. I did it last week and now I've forgotten.
Sorry, Steve, how do we get into your world? Yeah.
I haven't invited you into my world.
Or did you all want to do it on your world or onto different worlds? Or
Everyone's just been doing it on their own, I think.
oh, yep, no worries.
Yeah, no worries. Louise is looking good now. Look, I just cheated. I found a new button. If you look at mine, you can do this without this button, but I've put this little command in saying agent destroy obstacles true. And that way, when he comes to the end, rather than going up and start building a new base, he can just destroy the block in front of him. And anytime there's a block in front of him, he can destroy it. So that's one way of doing it. But it's interesting. I did this a few weeks ago with some year 4 students. And I think there are about, in a class of 30, there were about 4 who managed it by themselves fairly quickly, within 5 minutes. But it does help, if you're sitting in pairs and one person's maybe sketching, you can actually kind of move things around on your table physically. Jerry's getting closer as well. We're almost there. So there's more than one correct answer. Okay, so we've just been using the agent to build with. You can actually build with a command called build, where you don't actually need the agent. You can physically just build structures. So we'll look at that as well. I'm just going to go back to my world. So there we go. Maybe that's a task to give to your students. See if they can have some success. But you have lots of laughs along the way. Now, I've gone to this tool called blocks, and we've already used this. So we've placed the block where we move. But if I scroll down, you'll also see that there is oh, sorry, I'm just looking at Brenton's. His is very cool, and it's made of gold. But not quite. So if you look at my screen now, I'm using this command called fill. So I got this from the blocks, and you can see that it says, what does it say? Fill with from 000 to 000. So what I can do is, if I want to build a tower made of gold, I can do it from 000 to, let's say, 363. Or maybe I'll do it from from 111 to 363. Right, I'll leave it at 0. I'm not comfortable with my, Jerry's getting so close. So now when I type in the word run, I should be able to build a tower where I'm standing. Let's have a look. So if I'm going to go down here, I'm going to write T and I'm going to type run. So what's happened there? I have just built 4 by 4 by 7. You'll notice it's solid as well. So I'm running out of space on this island, but let me just come down here. Let me just show you my code. Because it went from 000 to 363, it already counts 0 as kind of the first block. So if I did that from to 2 to 5 to 2, run, I've made a 3 by 3 by 6 tower, but it's solid. believe, I've not actually tried this, but I believe you can make that hollow. Yeah, let's try that. Oh, so it's just got, I think it's got a lid on, but it's hollow all the way down. There we go. So you've got a few options there. And one final one to show you while I'm here. Look, I'm building a nice little island up here. You can also print. So if I go to blocks and scroll down, you'll see there's one that says print. So if I say on chat command print, don't want to write hello, I'm going to write Steven. And then remember, maybe I want to write it in the sky. So 5 blocks above my head, I type in the word print and I can write my name in, let's make it colourful. What shall I write in? Maybe I'll write in glass, that would be quite cool. There we go, maybe I'm going to write in orange stained glass. So I'll write T and then print. And what you'll notice is if I scroll, oh, look at that. Oh, I've gone under, I got so excited I went in the sea. Steven. Name. So that can be quite, that was really quick. So that's something that students can do if perhaps they're building in the same world. They can actually write their name or write a title or something in the sky. So if I just go back to Code Builder, you'll see how simple that is. On chat command print, type in what you want to print, choose what block you want. If I left it at 0, it would have printed it on the ground, but sometimes it's good to just put it up in the sky a bit, and students can work that out. So that printing is very cool. So I'm just going to show you my all-time favorite thing in coding, which is making it rain chickens. Then I'll let you have a little bit of a play, and then I'll show you some really great resources. So I'm just going to come out of Code Builder. I'm going to make a new project. I'm going to call it Rain. And now if you have a look at this one, this is my all-time favorite thing. So I'm going to type in the word rain. And when it rains, I want to spawn a mob. So mobs are all the different types of animals. And I want to spawn a chicken, but I could spawn an ocelot or a sheep or a wolf. Just bear in mind, if you spawn a dolphin or a sea turtle, you'll probably want to be near the water or it might be quite traumatizing. So I'm going to type in the word rain and I'm going to spawn a chicken at 10 blocks above my head. But I don't want to just spawn one chicken. I want to use loops and I want to spawn 100 chickens. And that's it. When I type in the word rain, this command is going to be repeated 100 times. It's going to spawn a chicken at 10 blocks above my head. And this is very, very fun. So if I come over here, I'm actually going to put in the command here. When I'm in creative, I can actually write in the command always day, and then it doesn't get dark. So now it's going to stay day forever. And if I type in the word rain, get ready to be excited. This is the most fun you can have in Minecraft. What's that? How many are there? Shall I count them? Or do I trust my coding? I've just made 100 chickens. Excellent. Do they like it in the water? Well, I'm not sure. They don't mind it too much, but I think they prefer the dry land. So I've just made 100 chickens. I happen to know that chickens like seeds. So if I go and grab some seeds, oh look, there's a baby chicken. The chickens will all come to me. So that's pretty fun. Oh look, they show me some love when I give them some seeds. So I just wrote the code there to make it rain 100 chickens at 10 blocks above me. If I go into the water, I could maybe change this to sea turtles. Maybe I don't want them falling from the sky. But now when I go into the water and I type the word rain, as I swim along, there's gonna be 100 sea turtles all spawning. That's quite a fun activity if you want to get a lot of creatures. You can play around with that and get different things. And let's all give Brenton a round of applause for completing his tower. That agent of yours looks really pleased with himself. Excellent. Cool. So those are just a couple of really cute little things. Being able to make it rain. I like it making it rain chickens from 10 blocks above my head. You can add other things in here. So you can do things like affect the gameplay. So when it starts, when you type in the word rain, it actually thunders. And then the weather clears once 100 chickens have been spawned. So you can play around with different commands like that. Cool. I like Jerry's written very cool, Stephen, in the sky, which is rather awesome. Great. Any questions there, or please share any screenshots if you've been playing along at the same time. I've got a very interesting world here. Good question from Louise. Do I ever use the tutorials? I have done. So if you go into the, is there one you wanted to share, or did you have a particular question, Louise? So you'll notice here when you go into Code Builder, you can make your new projects, but they've also got these tutorials. So if I go into Chicken Rain, it will actually show you step by step and you only get the commands you need, because sometimes if you're playing this for the first time, or if students are new to this, they can be overwhelmed by the number of options of blocks. With the tutorials, they're kind of like the hour of code activities, and you can just go step by step through the program like this, and you're just given the blocks that you need. So I think the tutorials are really simple. You can exit them and you can save where you've got up to. So yeah, I definitely recommend the tutorials. I think they're really useful. There's a whole range of them. So some of the things that I've mentioned, some of the other things there as well. Building a wall, making a lava tower, building an aquarium. That's a really nice activity. You get to build a glass aquarium, fill it with water, and then you can randomly place fish and coral and things like that. So definitely check out the tutorials. A couple of other things you have here. There are some activities like building a wall or building a house where the code's already been written. So you can actually take these and start and maybe change the code. So earlier today, you were talking about coding a house, which is quite tricky. But if I show you this example, so this actually uses a lot of commands. It uses something called the builder, which you can actually go through this step by step and notice that it's not too complicated if you go through it step by step. But I'm not going to go through all the code now. But what you'll notice is when you type in the word house, you just say what the width and height of the house is, and it builds a house for you. Obviously, a very basic house, just kind of the outline. It puts I think just a window in it. So if I go over here, let's find somewhere to build a house. Let's go onto this plot of land. I'm going to now build my house. So let's say I want a house that's 5 across and 4 high. I type in house 5-4. And look at that. House is built. We've actually written the code. So we've got a window. Have we got a door? Oh, we've got a space for a door. And we've got another window over here, and we've got a roof. Excellent. So that was pretty straightforward. I used this pre-made code for a house, and I typed in house and then the width and the height that I wanted it. What I can also do, obviously, is I can go into here and I can change the materials. So I can look where the materials have been added. I can change the roof. I can change the window color and things like that. So what I can also do now is I'm going to introduce you to a block called the structure block. Now, this has been around in Minecraft for a little while in the Education Edition. And what it allows me to do, I think Ben was talking about this earlier using 3D printing. So you can actually export your creations and use them in 3D printing, or you can bring them into PowerPoint or use them with mixed reality. So if I go to my inventory and search for structure block, there is no structure block. So it's no longer available in the inventory. You have to use a command to get the structure block. So by command, that just means you type /give, and then you can either give all players or a random player or yourself. So I'm just going to give myself. You'll see as you start typing, it comes up with the spelling. So I'm going to give myself a structure block. And I've now got a structure block. Angela, let's give you massive congratulations for that. And luckily we've recorded this, so you can watch it over the Christmas holidays if you want to. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to use this structure block, and I just have to go and put it on one corner of my house, and it shows you what's going to be exported. So I've clearly put that on the wrong corner. So I'm going to go over to this side, place down my structure block, and that's better. It includes the structure that I want. And what I can do now, once I put my structure block down, is I can right click on it and it shows me what's going to be exported. So let's kind of get the dimensions right. So the X coordinate is the red. That looks okay. Oh no, maybe I need one more. So I'm going to put that up to 6. There we go. I've got my window in now. The Y coordinate is the green. Maybe I need to go up a bit higher. Let's say 7. Oh, higher still. 9. And then Z. Let's add one more onto that. Oh. So you've got to play around with the numbers a little bit. One more. Oh, well, you get the idea. You have to play around with the numbers, make sure you've got it right. Also, the offset will mean maybe you can see here that in the green direction, it goes 1 level underground. You might want to change that to 0.
So, sorry, Steve.
Yeah.
I noticed that it has cut out some of those blocks.
Yep.
Is there a fix for that? Because when you do 3D print it, those empty blocks come out in the 3D print, or don't come out in the 3D print, you know?
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out why that is. Have you done this recently?
Yeah, I have. And we couldn't really get a fix for it. We tried replacing the blocks. We tried deleting underneath the structure.
Yeah, so I haven't seen this. Like this wasn't here before the update, so maybe it's something that I'll need to check that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to know, because what we do is we capture it out of like the 3D export, like you're doing. Yep. We capture it out of there, then we put it into Paint 3D.
Yep.
Use that to convert it to a 3MF file that my 3D printer can read, or software, and then we go from there. But yeah, so it happens with some kids, doesn't happen with others, and I haven't really come across a pattern.
Yeah. Like, okay. So yeah, I don't know. It shouldn't do that. No. Everyone, please try. And if you've got a problem, please write it in the Microsoft Teams under the support and feedback. Yeah, I'll speak to the Microsoft team, but this certainly wasn't happening earlier this year. I've never come across it until today, to be honest.
Okay. Yep.
But good that you've seen it, which means it's not just me, and we'll figure out what's happened. But yeah. Cool. So you can see there, and you can see that Brenton's put in the chat his doggy daycare designs in Minecraft. But the nice thing about this, sorry, I'm just playing around with this. So the nice thing about this is you can export this. Okay, so you can export it to your desktop, and then you can open it in, if I go to my desktop, I can open it in Windows Mixed Reality 3D Viewer, and you can actually play around with it. You can save it, export it, send it to a printer, but you can also load it into Paint 3D and color it and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not sure why that isn't quite showing up. So what I'm going to do is show you this brand new thing which just came out in the latest update, and that allows you to take something that you've created and kind of copy and paste it within Minecraft. So rather than 3D export, this has been around for a few years. You can now save. So I'm going to just call this house. And I'm going to save that structure as house. Cool. What that means now is I can take that house that I've built, I can go somewhere else. I can put the structure block down and I can load my house. And there, I put a house. So I've got 2 houses. And then I can come over here and I can load another house. So that's really cool. So you can now take whatever structure you've built and copy and paste it around. So if you're building a city or you're building some kind of construction, you don't need to keep doing the same thing over and over again. You can now pick up and load elsewhere in the game. You might want to, double check the orientation. Okay, so you can actually say where you want to build it, but that's something you can do. Hi, Angela. You've just turned your camera on. Is that because you want to say hello? No? Okay, cool. You're back again. You've gone now. Cool. So I think that's really nice. I think there's a few other things that you can do with structure block, but I really like that option to be able to pick them up and move them around. So I'm just making a note so that I can follow up on Ben's question. Excellent. So now I'm just going to escape that. And I want to just talk about some of the content that you can find in here, and then I'll show you where there's some additional resources on coding. So I showed you the hour of code activities. They're definitely really great introduction worlds. Now, if you go into the library and subject kits, there's a whole lot on computer science. So we've looked at hour of code, block-based coding. There's step-by-step fundamentals that will go through. There's all sorts of different problems using algorithms, sequencing, loops, and you can actually work through these with your students. So they first of all learn about basic moves, so moving the agent around. Then the second lesson is actually using the agent to repair and clean up an area for to make it habitable for sea turtles. So are they a bit like the tutorials? Kind of, although they're more structured. It's the whole world rather than just looking at one particular aspect. So the tutorials will be something like, this is how you make it rain chickens, or this is how you build a wall. With these, they're about actually solving a problem. They're a bit more involved and a bit more fun and engaging for the students, I think. There's a bit of purpose behind them. So definitely check these out. There's a whole series of them. So the first one's all about conservation. The second one is all about exploring the world, the solar system. And I haven't done the third one. So it goes right from the prehistoric era to the faraway future. So you learn about dinosaurs, Rome, Wild West, futuristic farming, and then another challenge. I haven't looked at those yet. So I definitely recommend having a look at those. Under computer science and then block-based coding. There's lots there. There's different ones depending on whether you're using the keyboard or these ones for touch. So you'd use these if you were using iPads, for example. So all of those resources are online. There's also these tutorials here that go into loops and events and conditionals. So a whole lot of tutorials. So definitely worth checking out. But I also wanted to just quickly show you a whole curriculum that the Minecraft team have put together. I know a few schools have gone through these actually. So if I go to my OneNote here we go. I don't know if anyone has these. They Minecraft published them, I think, 2 years ago. So beginning of 2019. And the idea was, if you look here, there's 5 different units. This is one that was particularly designed for primary schools. So you, first of all, you code a conversation with your agent. There are PowerPoint slides. There are educator notes. So there's a whole bunch of kind of unplugged activities as well. Imagine you're making a sandwich. What ingredients would you use, and what steps would you use to make it? And then you look at how you would actually navigate around Minecraft, and then how you can build like a chatbot with your agent. Then you look at teleporting your agent, moving your agent around, using your agent's inventory. Then you plan a city. You build parks and recreation areas, plant some flowers, a water feature. But the nice thing about all of these lessons is there are detailed notes for the teacher, as well as all the answers. And you can even download, I believe, here, unit materials. You can download a teacher workbook, a PowerPoint, a world with the completed examples in. So there's a whole lot of content in there. And at the end of this activity, it could last maybe half a year, exploring different aspects of coding. You can build a zoo and then power the whole city with wind farm, and then use coding a lighting system, using redstone for the whole town. So there's loads and loads of material there, which I will share with you. I need to go and find the link, and I'll put that into the chat for you. So that's if you want to go and explore a whole bunch of work. I'm going to grab my notes and share the link with you. So there are 2 versions of that. The one I've just shown you is the primary school one, called Computing with Minecraft. And then there's a one that's really designed for sort of years 7 to 9, kind of middle school, that actually goes step by step into events, coordinates, variables, conditionals. But similarly, lots of really nice ideas that you can pick up. So using the agent to chop down trees, to collect wood, to build with. And again, all of the teacher PowerPoints, student workbooks and answers are all included there. So as a bonus for coming along today, there are 2 versions. There's the elementary school, and then there's the middle school. And I've just put those links in the chat. And as long as you're logged into your Schools SA account, you can click on those and it will just copy the OneNote into your OneDrive. So these don't link to the Australian curriculum. So all of the links are US, unfortunately. But you can see, understand and use the basic steps in problem solving and so on. So no, these are all written by US instructors, but luckily, a conditional is the same across different countries, which is good, as there's loads of information in there. As I said, you just click on those links and it will copy your own personal copy into your OneDrive. If you get stuck with that, just come and email me and chat with me. But I just wanted to show you some of the ways that I've seen this work in different year groups. So I've just quickly looked at the Australian curriculum and looked at some of the things that you might want to do with Minecraft Education Edition and coding. So starting with the youngest students, follow instructions. So something as simple as on player walk that I showed you earlier. And rather than just planting 1 flower, why don't we plant 3 flowers and see what happens? Year 3 and 4, we're looking at algorithms, and we can explore getting an agent to dig or mine or explore. year 5 and 6 iteration. So doing the same thing again, repeating 4 times, setting a block, putting the block down, turning, moving up, building a tower. There's another example of how to build a tower. There we go. I've shown you a few different ones. And then year 7 and 8, when you're looking at conditionals, like if an agent detects redstone, then they mine it. But if they don't, they ignore it. And you can do that when you're building a farm. If the agent sees soil, then till the soil. If they see brick, then collect the brick, and those sorts of things. But you'll also notice when you're inside MakeCode, you can start with block-based coding, and just with one click, you can switch over to JavaScript or Python. I know in Western Australia, Python is most commonly used in high schools. So that's the exact same code written in Python. And I can have a look and make sense of that. And what I've found even in primary schools is sometimes once you're doing a lot of coding, it's quicker to do the text-based coding and just go in and change forward to left or whatever it is, than actually drag the blocks backwards and forwards all the time. So again, probably not till year 9 and 10, but you can also do variables and functions, which are available in years 9 and 10. And I'm just going to show you something that I'm doing with a year 8 class next week. I think I've got it open here. Yeah, so this is an activity that I'm actually doing with a year 8 class next week, called Past, Present and Possible Futures. So the idea is that students are going to look at an issue in the world where humans have impacted negatively on the environment. So it could be pollution or water or deforestation. And the team is going to build a world in Minecraft, and by using coding, show how they can help change the future for the better. I did this a couple of years ago, and it was really fun. And the solutions that the students came up with were pretty awesome. For overpopulation, one class made a teleporter so that everyone went to live on Mars. So that was quite fun. But others came up with deforestation. So they planned a way of automatically clearing the land with planned bushfires and then replanting seeds, and they automated that using coding. So I just showed some examples of what global warming might look like, what overpopulation might look like in different areas, climate change, Great Barrier Reef, and then the students had to research the different issues, and then they had to build a world and then code a solution in Minecraft and then present back to the rest of the class. So using videos or using the camera and portfolio tools, saying what the problem is and how they had used coding to make the world better. So that's a really fun activity that I did, but also great that students could actually think about real world issues and how coding could help. So obviously we're doing it in Minecraft, but a lot of the engineering or coding solutions could definitely be implemented in the real world as well. So I'll share that with you in the chat in a moment. I'll link that in. But to finish off, I put a link to the Minecraft Hour of Code, the MakeCode tutorials, and just a reminder that there is a Teach Academy online where you can go and access further tutorials. So I just wanted to say thanks. That's my name, Steven Payne. I'm Standout Ed on Twitter. If you want to email, or Playcraft Learn is on Twitter. If you want to email me, please do. And if you want to ask any questions, do ask them in the chat. We've got a support group in the team as well. So I'm just going to say thanks for coming along. We'll stop the recording there, and I'll share my slides in to the chat. And thanks for giving up your afternoon.